Back here with novelist Colson Whitehead, Pulitzer Prize-winning novelist. Thanks for being here. You've programmed 2 for 1.
Yes, very exciting.
Yeah, we just had Treasure Sierra Madre from 1948, written and directed by John Huston. Now we have Stanley Kubrick's The Killing from 1956. We're doing this from a beautiful theater, L'Alliance, New York's Florence Gould Theater. Thanks to them for allowing us to be here. It is a beautiful theater. All right, so The Killing. Kubrick is one of your favorite filmmakers, yes?
Sir, yeah. I mean, I work in a lot of different genres in my novels, and I think I got a really important early lesson from watching Kubrick. He'll do his crime story, his dark comedy, his sci-fi movie, trying to see what he can get from these different genres and make them his own. And I think that's a good way of being an artist. If you do something, why do it again?
So I knew you as the writer of Nickel Boys and the Underground Railroad. And then you look at everything you've written, and it is impossible to figure out what genre fiction seems to be your genre. Stories.
Yeah.
Storytelling.
You know, if I keep writing these books, I get to try out these different ways of telling a story. And sometimes they're funny, sometimes they're grim, sometimes they're realistic or fantastic. And each different way of telling a story brings something new to the mix.
Your last 3 novels, part of your Harlem crime trilogy, right? Starting with Harlem Shuffle and then Crook Manifesto, and now the new one, Cool Machine, which definitely sounds like an Elmore Leonard title, which is a very high compliment.
I'll take it.
Yeah, it's sort of your inspiration came in part from movies like The Killing, right?
Definitely, you know, I was weaned on 70s lo-fi crime movies like Charlie Varick, Taking Pelham 1, 2, 3. And then
both Walter Matthau.
Walter Matthau in the very great run in the early 70s. And then the classic heist movies, The Killing, Asphalt Jungle, Rafifi, sweaty white guys trying to pull it off and change fate, and things sometimes go wrong.
So The Killing is Kubrick's 3rd movie. It is often referred to as the first movie where you see Kubrick's brilliance as a filmmaker. Kubrick's movie before this, Killer's Kiss, which I think is a phenomenal film. But Kubrick was certainly more advanced here by the time he made The Killing. And, you know, the next year did Paths of Glory, and he's off and running on being Stanley Kubrick.
And if you think about where it is in his career, it's so lean. You know, a couple years later, 2001, it's like, he's taking his time, setting the scene.
Yeah.
And in this, you know, immediately you're plunged into it. And it's like clockwork. It's a heist, clockwork heist.
That's right. Sterling Hayden leading a group of 5 guys total. And it's to steal all the money at the racetrack during the big race. They hire a couple other guys who aren't even told about what's happening, so sort of to insulate everyone.
Sterling Hayden, Johnny, has planned this heist to the smallest detail.
Yeah, very sophisticated plot, but somehow in the manner that Kubrick tells it, it doesn't feel complicated.
Well, immediately, you know, the actors are taking over, and, you know, I think when you look at, say, Elijah Cook and his sort of beady eyes, you know, you're immediately pulled into his struggle.
I'm going to have it, Sherry. Hundreds of thousands, maybe 500,000.
Of course you are, darling. Did you put the right address on the envelope when you sent it to the North Pole?
Go ahead and laugh. Wait and see. Maybe you won't be laughing so hard in a few days.
The dialogue is great, it's snappy, and you really get who these people are and how desperate they are really quickly.
As good a heist picture as there is. Yeah, here we go. So let's watch it. Here it is from 1956, directed by Stanley Kubrick, screenplay by Jim Thompson, cast led by the great Sterling Hayden. The Killing. Back once again with Colson Whitehead. He programmed our 2 for 1 features tonight. Colson, thanks for doing this. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, my pleasure.
He brought us Treasure Sierra Madre first. We just saw The Killing, Stanley Kubrick's 3rd film, 1956. Oh man, that is that's an ending. Very similar to Treasure Sierra Madre.
Yeah, sometimes the heists go right, say Ocean's 11, and sometimes they go wrong. You will plot and plan, and fate still has a lesson for you. And which I love about a lot of heist movies is that perspective where the guys don't know, but we know. The viewer knows that the wheel man is on drugs again, or the safecracker's wife is causing some trouble, and we can see that the plan's going downhill, but everyone else thinks that, you know, they're still in good shape.
Stanley Kubrick, he only made 13 movies. between 1953 and 1999. That he made the artistic impact on movies that he made with such a relatively small number of films, it adds to his mystique.
The lesson I take is just keep reinventing yourself. And so, yeah, you did this heist picture. What else can you do? And from film to film, he was always sort of testing what he could do with these different genres, making them his own. So I've internalized that, I think. In terms of my last couple novels were crime novels, but my first one was called The Intuitionist, came out in '99, and that was a takeoff on detective novels. It's about an elevator inspector who has to solve a criminal case, and I was really studying a lot of noir film conventions of detective stories. So I think if you can just keep finding new ways to be inspired, making it new for yourself, then readers and viewers will come along.
I was reading some reviews of The Intuitionist, and you were 30?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm always curious about this with anybody. First season of our podcast, Plot Thickens, was Peter Bogdanovich, who had this very early success, like right around the same age, when he makes Last Picture Show. And the pressure that exists, even though no one says it, for the second novel. When people say this is, there's some of your reviews are basically like, this is as good a first novel as a person can have. I'm paraphrasing, but that's the kind of thing that got written. Did that put pressure? Was that only good, or does that put some external pressure, or is there just always pressure?
I think there's always pressure, but it's internal, and I think when I think about The Intuitionist, that was the best book I could do when I was 29. Cool Machine is coming out now, is the best book I could do when I was 56. I think if you're not slacking, you're challenging yourself from book to book and just doing your best from year to year, that's what you should really worry about, not what some critic thinks or someone out there, someone else's idea of what kind of artist you should be.
There's just so many things that I love about Kubrick and I love about The Killing, and both you and Kubrick do have this notion of not repeating yourself. I mean, you finished a trilogy now, but they go together. So you're done with crime probably for a while.
Yes, and now I'm thinking about doing something with World War I, so I'm just copying Kubrick, whatever I do.
Well, the bar is pretty high with Paths of Glory, but yeah, you're up for the challenge. Colson Whitehead, the latest book is A Cool Machine. Thank you for coming to TCM. Again, you gave us 6 options for double features. I want to do all of them. We do a night of Walter Matthau with Charlie Varick and Taking Pelham 1, 2, 3.
Same time next year.
We'll
down.
get you back. Colson Whitehead, everybody. Thanks very much.
That was a pleasure.
Colson's work is done for the night, but the movies, of course, continue here on TCM, and as always, they are uncut and commercial-free.
Next on TCM, Blues in the Night, then The Street Fighter, and later, Return of the Street Fighter. Here comes the Sonny Chiba on TCM.